Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen and it's been a long time. And I'm sorry for that because I've really missed you, invisible you. I love talking to this community, and I was mentioning to Mags the Woodland Hag. She did a lovely video about the importance of our YouTube community and how real our audiences are to us. And it feels like a real thing, you know. And I remember years and years ago, I was reading this Wayne Dyer book, and he was talking about relationships, and in it he pointed out that most of our relationships actually exist in our heads, you know, because the actual hours that we spend with the people that we love, they get less and less. You know, we have children and we spend all day, every day with them until a certain age. And then they go out in the world and we only see them, you know, in the evenings, and then they go to bed and they go to sleep. And the same with our friends. We only actually physically contact, especially in modern society, we only physically catch up with friends quite rarely. And yet our relationships continue to grow and to flourish within. It's because we hold people in our minds and in our hearts. And I think that's a great explanation too of how we can not see someone literally for 20 years, you know, someone that's been very dear to us, and then pick up where we left off 20 years down the track, because our relationships, they do exist largely in our heads. And certainly the YouTube relationships that I have are largely in my head. And especially at this early stage where this channel is so new and there's very little to and fro, people aren't commenting and stuff like that. And that's fine, because I'll just go on blithely sharing because I care about you and I love talking to you, even though I don't know who you are. It's the strangest thing, isn't it? It's a human thing. We are very much pack animals, aren't we? And we've learnt that a lot in the last 6 months. So where have I been? Well, I've been working, and I had to re-record all the modules for the core group in my Creative Writing Academy. So they needed to be all re-recorded and freshened up. And so that was a big job. So that's really consumed me. And we hired a little Airbnb and I did a 3-day shoot there, which was really amazing. And then at the end of that, I was completely brain dead for probably about 3 days. I was sort of immobilized. There was very little I could do. And I'm cool with that now. I understand, having worked in the creative field for a long time. I do really understand there's an outpouring, and then there's a time where you just really have to rest. And if you don't go with that and don't set your life up so that you can sort of go with that, you risk very quick and very deep burnout. So I call them my Candy Crush days. Not that I've ever played Candy Crush, but that's how they are. It's like, I can't do much more than just sit on the couch and play Candy Crush at the moment, because I'm regenerating. So there was a period of that after re-recording all those things, and now I'm launching into launch mode. So there's when you run an online business, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes before you open your doors and launch your product. And there's lots of copy to be written, there's lots of campaigns to be organised, and there's lots of scheduling goes on, as well as all the editing of the videos and all that sort of footage, which is largely done by my partner, the actual techie side, but all the writing and the coordinating and the pulling of all the strings is my job. So it's been pretty full on. I also released, I think since I've spoken to you, I released the Divine Feminine course, which had a fantastic uptake. And so lots of people have enjoyed that. Now I really would like to kind of have some sort of platform where we could discuss that, but I'm very aware that I'm going to spread myself too thin if I open up yet another Facebook group. So at the moment, the Divine Feminine course is just a free resource that I've put out there, and a few people have tentatively sort of written back to me and said they enjoyed it, but by and large it's sort of like a open and shut sort of event. But I'd definitely like to build more onto that as time goes by. And what else has been happening? We had a Winter Solstice party, which was incredible because Winter Solstice was on a Saturday night. Well, it wasn't, it was actually on a Sunday, but we had the party on a Saturday night. So we had the party on the Saturday, the 20th of June, that night. So we had a fire pit, we had it all outside. It was freezing, like freezing. It's the middle of winter here. But we had a fire, we had our old carport that we've converted into a sort of a party place with a, you know, it's got fairy lights and old chairs and all sorts of stuff. And we got a fire pit and hay bales and trestle tables, and we had power out there, so we were able to set up crock pots and rice cookers and all this sort of stuff. So we had 10 people over because that was the maximum that you were allowed at that point in time. And we just feasted, you know, we had sticky date pudding as well, and sat by the fire, and none of them were pagans. I was the only pagan there, of course. But near the end, I got out all these sparklers, and I was kind of a bit shy about it because, you know, I didn't really want to draw attention to the fact that it was, you know, this was important to me, but I also still wanted to mark it in some way. And so I said, let's celebrate Winter Solstice with these sparklers. And, you know, sort of shyly said it. And I can't tell you, everyone's faces just lit up. It was just incredible. It's like people crave ritual. They crave some kind of meaning, you know, even if it's the smallest gesture. Everyone was like children on cracker night. So we had all these sparklers, and we all gathered around the fire pit because we were all in various spots by then, you know, in our little groups talking and stuff. We all came together in a circle around the fire pit and sparkled our sparkles and wished each other, you know, all the best and happy winter and stuff like that. So it was really special and really beautiful, and just drove home to me how important ritual is, and how important it is for those of us who are really seeking it to share it when we do start to create it, to share it. So that's the other reason that I've just come on here fairly quickly today and fairly unthought through, really. It was just like this incredible, you know, there was other things I wanted to do this afternoon, but this pull to do a video was so strong. It's like, you know, it's almost like you're being led to do it. So yeah, the other reason I wanted to come on was to remind you, if you do watch this in time, that it's a full moon tonight, and it's a big one. There's a solar eclipse as well, and so apparently this energy, this portal, is going to be pretty strong and with us for about 6 months. Now, I'm no big guru on the astrology, so please don't berate me. But that's about the limit of my knowledge. But it is going to be a full moon tonight, so I'm very excited. And so if you want to do some kind of releasing ritual, now's the time. So I'm going to do a releasing ritual tonight as soon as she's up. The moon, we have, you know, very blessed here, and because we're in the country, the skies are spectacular. And the full moon is incredibly enchanting because there's no light pollution from, you know, city buildings and stuff. So full moons, just, I get a bit kind of spellbound by them. So I've been thinking about what I need to release, and so I've come up with, you know, a scenario, a person's energy that I need to release, a person that triggers me all the time, a person in my private Facebook group, who is sort of passive aggressive, and I'm always triggered, and I need to look at that and figure out why, which is what I've been doing, and make it about me and not about her. And so tonight I'm doing a ritual under the full moon to release her from my energy field gently and with great respect, and just, this is about also about me putting up boundaries and saying, this is okay, this is not okay. So this sort of passive aggressive behavior, I won't accept it anymore, and I'm going to just release it. So I'll do a ritual. I've got my little cauldron. I'll write some stuff in that. I'll burn it in that. And I will also call in, this month I've been working with the goddess Rhiannon. Here she is. This is as I pulled her from my Mists of Avalon oracle deck, which I am still working with because I adore it. It is the most beautiful deck. I'll put a link to it down below. So there's the beautiful Rhiannon, and she's my goddess of the month. And she stands for integrity, focus, perseverance, and endurance. And in terms of integrity, you know, with Rhiannon, it's all about the truth. And so for me, it's been working out what is the truth of this matter, and how does that reflect on me. So I've had a lot of confusion around this issue, and feeling in the end, realizing that this has been a form of gaslighting that's been going on, and that is the truth of the matter. And so it's okay for me to just release it and let it go, and not hook into it, and not allow it to hook into me anymore. And with this, what I've done a couple of releasing rituals like this, or spells like this before, and they've been incredibly effective. I've released people that trigger me and I know are bad for me. So I'm very drawn to certain personalities, and I can get myself in a real tangle. I'm very drawn to, you know, narcissistic sorts of personalities, everything that sparkles. But sometimes we find there's some dark shadows there. So I have done some releasing exercises in this way before, and they've been just so gentle and powerful, like really, really clean things up for me. Definitely a letting go. So I will do that tonight with my full moon ritual with Rhiannon. So I wanted just to remind you that, you know, you might want to do something like that as well, and take advantage of this portal. The other thing I wanted to say was that I know I'm a solitary witch, but I have joined a coven. It's an online coven at the moment, but we will meet up hopefully eventually in real life. It's very small. There's only 7 of us in there, and we had our opening ceremony via Zoom the other night, and it was just beautiful. If you can find an opportunity to do this, and I did this via an online course, I paid to be in this group, but it was incredibly energetic. The energy was just like, there was just this coming together. It was bizarre. And then when we met each other, we all felt like the bond is quite instant. And all of us are at very different stages in our spiritual paths. Our ages are completely different. We're, you know, all different ages, and all different stages of our lives as well. But there's this incredible bond that we can all feel straight away, and it's just the most beautiful thing, and so sacred. And I was listening to someone speak the other day, and she was saying about how if one thing COVID's taught us is how sacred the ability to gather and hold ritual is, and how we hold ceremony together, how sacred and precious that is. So for me, I'm becoming more aware of that, and perhaps not holding myself back so much, you know, being so wed to this idea of being an introvert, of being a solitary as well, a solitary practitioner, of allowing the possibility for a little bit of change. I think that's one of the things that I've kind of been getting out of this experience of enforced isolation. And of course, that's what happened with our Winter Solstice party. on the Saturday it was okay to have 10 people. By the Monday it was back to 5, and now Victoria, which is the state in Australia that I live in, we are in total isolation again. Not lockdown, but we're in isolation again. So things change very quickly during this time. So again, it's good to take advantage of things when you can. So that's another kind of lesson that I've been learning. I've been reading. What have I been reading? I've read this. I got this on, bought this online. Hecate, a devotional. It's just gorgeous. It's only thin. It's just, I've tagged some things in there. It's beautiful. So if you want to grab something, that's by Vivian Moss. I stand on the horizon of eternity, waiting for the dread goddess to appear. It's beautiful. So that's a good one. I have now got this in my hot little hands, Me and White Supremacy. So I'm about embracing myself. I know I'm going to be confronted by this. I know I've got a lot to learn. I'm really looking forward to reading this. And then I will go into a book called Too Much Lip, which deals much more with racism in terms of our own, here in Australia, our own Indigenous people, our First Nations people. So this is on my bedside table at the moment. Well, actually, no, I lie. It's not on my bedside table. It's too important for that. It's this sort of nonfiction. I always carve out time when I'm alert to read it because it's important, and I can't just lull myself off to sleep with it. It needs to be. I need to pay attention. I've also been getting into Renee Brown, and I've just picked up this one, Rising Strong. Her book, Dare Greatly, has had a really profound impact on me. I took a long time to warm to Renee Brown, which is really weird, and I think there's some shadow stuff going on there. I don't know why. I just took a while to warm to her. Perhaps it was that, you know, sometimes in Australia we get a little bit, you know, American imperialism kind of gets us a bit offside, and we sometimes feel a bit put upon by the American superpower, and perhaps with Renee I was feeling like, oh, here's another, you know, American woman striding into my life telling me how to live. I think there was a bit of that, you know, a bit of resistance, and yet I still couldn't resist the occasional YouTube video and the occasional interview, and she chipped away at me. And now I've decided that she's fairly brilliant and has got a lot to offer. And so also I've found her work to be incredibly helpful in terms of my role as a leader in my group, in my creative writing community. I was somewhat of a reluctant leader. I didn't kind of anticipate that when I started an online business, but there is a need to sort of have boundaries and lead. And so Renee's work has really helped me with that. It's helped me also when I talk to my people, when I do live calls. I've got, you know, something to share with them, more insights and stuff. It's about, you know, I guess as a leader, you're continually educating yourself for your own benefit, but also so that you have something to share, and so that you're consciously building your community. You're not it's not a static community. No one wants to lead a static community. We want our communities to be robust and dynamic. So I feel like the only way that you can achieve that is by educating yourself continually. So Brene Brown's work has really helped me with that. So I'm looking forward to reading Rising Strong. I saw a fantastic interview between her and Russell Brand recently, which I found incredibly inspiring. I also saw a brilliant interview between Russell Brand and Eckhart Tolle as well. So if you want to look at that, I'll put a link to that. It was amazing too, because Russell Brand, who's so vivacious and loquacious, actually held back, you know. He held back, and he let Eckhart do practically all of the talking for about an hour and 20 minutes, I think it was. It was a long interview, but he let the guru speak, and more credit to him for doing that, I think. So So that was pretty amazing as well. So my darlings, that is what's going on here at camp. I found a fox. Next time I come back, I might share with you a little bit of basic kitchen kind of witchery that I've been doing of late. That's been having, or household witchery that's been really affecting our environment and in a really positive and beautiful way. So I'll share, it's not cooking, but just shifting energies and inviting in poppets and house spirits and acknowledging them. That's been really, really fun and special. So I'll share that with you in the next video. But for now, I'm going to go and prepare a little bit more for my full moon ritual. I hope that maybe you'll do something as well, even if it's just acknowledge the moon goddess, you know, even if she doesn't have a real face for you. If you just step outside and feel that incredibly intense energy, that's kind of enough. It's a bit of a gateway drug. It's another gateway drug, is the full moon energy, I reckon. Gateway energy, gateway drug to the craft. All right. It's been wonderful to talk to you. I will go and I will find a really beautiful place to pop Rhiannon up again. And I'll see you again soon. Many blessings. Bye for now.